Scorpio, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-August 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Scorpio collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do you got for us? What do you got for Scorpio gang here in mid-August as we move from Leo over into Virgo season? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Scorpio gang in mid-August. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. We're going to have some fun today, my good friends. Hopefully. I always enjoy the Scorpio readings. It's always a pleasure. Cool. So we got some Aries energy showing up here. And again, this isn't a tarot deck that I'm using, but this is the Fool archetype, the Fool card archetype. Doesn't mean that we're all going to be running around all wild. I mean, for some of us, it might be. But normally I think this is like a very good card that has a lot of energetic potential, which can be nice. Just a little impulsive. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the August subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as mentioned, if you look here in the box, we have this lady here. She has like the jester hat. And I'm not sure if you could see, but down there at her feet are different renditions of the Fool card. So the archetype is here, right? Now, what do we know about the Fool card? Some people connected to Aries, some people also connected to Aquarius energy if you're connected to anyone with those placements. But it is the first of the major arcana. It's the protagonist of the tarot deck. It represents new adventures. Normally it's like super lighthearted and optimistic and fun. So for some Scorpios, this could be fantastic. It could be like super lighthearted and enjoying itself. That's pretty good. However, the inverse to the Fool card is that it can be a little bit wild. It can be a little bit risky. Normally, the renditions of the Fool is about to walk off a damn cliff, and its puppy dog is like pulling him back. So this could be spirit saying like, hey, watch the impulse control, watch the urges and stuff like that. If you're energetically sensitive, with which the vast majority of Scorpios are, just watch the energetic stimulus, right? Because there might be a lot of things getting a rise out of you, even if you're trying to block it out. That's really interesting that it shows up like this. So for some Scorpios, this is great. It's fresh, it's new, good potential, lots of fun. But for others, it could get a little wild, right? So we're just going to put that down right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Scorpio gang. What do we got? What do we got? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled An Explosive Breakthrough, but there are caveats because the reading itself, I did feel something breaking through. I did feel getting something that you want or getting a result. But the big caveat at the end of the reading was like, okay, this feels different than I thought it would feel. So again, over the coming days and weeks, there might be certain things that materialize how you wanted them to, or you might get certain results that you've been looking for. But it's like, this isn't how I imagined it would be, right? Not necessarily in a bad way. It just felt different than how I drew it up. So we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Scorpio gang. What do we got in mid-August, please? Okay. Hey, we got our good friend, the King of Cups, a.k.a. Kyle of Cups himself, without a beard. He's chilling there. He's got his goblet. He's having a grand old time. That is a Scorpio power card, if you didn't know. Great stuff. And we got the Page of Wands. So we're looking people here, Scorpio gang. For some of you, you're like, oh, no. Why so many people? All right, let's get one more. Let's get one more for Scorpio. Thank you. Temperance. Cool. Lots of fire, which again, that's a very common occurrence in my Scorpio readings, because I feel like Scorpio, out of all the water signs, just it could work with fire, where there's that internal intensity. And that makes sense with what I'm seeing here. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, just how I mentioned, I'm going to look at the elements super quick because I feel like it lays a nice foundation. And I personally think, even though there's fire predominant, we got the little water there as well. It just feels comfortable for a Scorpio reading. Speaking as a Scorpio moon, I just feel comfortable with how this energy feels initially. Doesn't mean it's going to stay that way the whole time. But when we have a lot of fire, that's the realm of action, right? It's the realm of action, whether it's actions you take, the actions other people take. Remember, we started with the Fool, which is another action, fiery type of card. So we do have that theme showing up here. It could be someone else's actions for all we know. But I also think of vitality. I think of health and wellness. I think of energy levels, whether it's feeling low or feeling high. Normally, it's super high vibrational, though. The downside to the fire is that it is very difficult to contain, right? Just like a campfire, you need to put stones around it or put it in a place where it's not going to get out of hand, because fire does have a volatility to it. There's an intensity where it can get out of hand, right? It can get explosive. So that's something we'll keep an eye on. Then we have water right here in the front. That's Scorpio's power element, Scorpio's comfort zone. It's the internal emotional world, matters of the heart, personal relationships. There could be intuition, energetic sensitivity, right? That's the psychic suit, so to speak. Um, it could be creativity, artistic expression. Cool. That's all good. A lot of Scorpios have that artistic edge to them. But normally, I say that the cups to me represent emotional investment, whether it's a person or a situation that I actually care about, something that I'm emotionally invested in. The downside to water is that it moves, right? It waxes, it wanes. It could be a little in, a little out. So we want to keep an eye on it. But usually Scorpio is good at rolling with those waves, so to speak. But the way they combine, it feels comfortable for some reason. But let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we got our good friend right there, the King of Cups, aka Kyle of Cups himself. He's chilling right there. He looks super happy and content, right? Now, the thing with all kings, they represent control of their respective suits. So, just how we were speaking about the water, the sensitivity, the creativity, the King of Cups usually has that on lock. Now, he can represent the fullest expression of emotion, right? So, big feelings, not little feelings, big, intense feelings. So, keep that in mind. Everyone knows Scorpio feels things deeply, and that's what the King of Cups is about, right? Um, it could be a soft, gentle energy as well. Like it's not just all intensity with the King of Cups. It could be soft and balanced and gentle. Nice. Now, in my simplistic style, when we clarified, it could just tell us something that's coming towards you or what you might be feeling. Remember, this isn't gender specific. Maybe you're connected to another water sign. That's very possible. But the downside of the King of Cups has a lot of benefits. This is an energy that likes to party it up a little bit. That's for one, because there has been this little fun, living on the edge type of energy we're picking up since the beginning. And the King of Cups does like to indulge. The King of Cups can also lose control of emotions, right? These are big feelings. And it's like, I can't control how I feel. I feel how I feel, right? Like that's the thing with him. So we're going to see what's up. I'm leaning positive. That's the one thing I will say, especially since this is a Scorpio reading. Now, moving into the middle, this shows me that we're probably tapping into other people's energy as well. So whether that's coworkers, friends, family members, you name it, we have the Page of Wands in the center. Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but we shouldn't limit it just to that. Pages can also represent younger individuals or youthfulness. Now, the Page of Wands, as with all pages, represents students and messengers. This is a conversation, a message, or a talk of some kind normally when this page is here. But what do we know about the Page of Wands? It is amped up, right? This is a high energy type of person where it's like, I'm here, I'm there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. There's like very high energy. So again, just watch out for that. And this time that could be very good. It could be very good and energetic, or it could be someone where it's like, hey, can you just calm down for a second? Like, can you take a breath? Like it's one of those. Now, the downside to the Page of Wands is this energy can burn itself out. And it does have that unpredictable edge, like we saw with the Fool as well, where it's like act first, ask questions later. It's urge driven. So we do need to keep a close eye on it. But again, it could just be a conversation. Pages also are like aces, meaning that they could represent new doors opening. So you see what I mean? We got a little bit of a few different things going on here. Now, moving to the back end, we have Temperance. Chill, super chill, right? Sagittarius, so it is fire. Archangel Michael, beautiful for spiritual protection and insulation. So we love it for that alone, where it's like, okay, I'm protected, I'm insulated. Beautiful. Temperance is all about patience, though. We see Archangel Michael there. He's not zipping around like this Page of Wands, not super intense like the King of Cups, feeling big things. He's chill, he's zen, he's meditating, right? So, in the classical sense, when we see temperance, it could represent refraining from something. It could represent restraint, where it's like, okay, I want to do this, but maybe I won't, right? Like it's an energy that can second guess, where it's like, I want to do this, maybe I'll hold off for now. There's like resisting of urges is big when it comes to temperance, and it is a card of patience. However, when we get to the challenging side of temperance, this could be an energy where it's like, okay, I've been patient enough. I'm not going to be patient anymore. Or, you know what? I've resisted enough. I'm not going to resist anymore. So, like, there is this energy that might go a little wild, but wild doesn't have to be bad. Uh, I want to dive deeper on all of it, though, Scorpio. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got? What do we got for Scorpio gang? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on Mr. King of Cups. Pardon me. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give the Scorpio gang, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, why is King of Cups here? Okay. It's an energy that just seems to be milling about, if that makes sense. Or it's like, I'm in no rush. I'm just chilling. So we have the Two of Wands in reverse underneath this King of Cups. And it's like, I don't have no place to be. I don't have anything to do. It's just I'm milling about. There's like not a lot of direction here, which again could be great if you are in some sort of flow state, Scorpio. Like if you are in a nice alignment, you're on your path, you're doing what you need to do. This energy is like automatic. So that's the one thing I like about it. It doesn't have the urgency that I was picking up with that page in the center. But this energy also feels like it has its head in the clouds a little bit too, where it's kind of just like milling about with no direction, right? So I guess that would be the downside of it. Now, I'll tell you why I feel that. The Two of Wands, fire once again, so it's all about the action, is planning. It's strategy. So in the upright, it's like, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. Like it's an energy that has its stuff together, where it's like, I have a plan in place. When I see it in reverse under the King of Cups, it's like, I don't have a plan and I'm okay with it. I'm just going to wing it and see how it goes. And that's something I've been seeing for a few different signs this week, where there's something about just being in the flow, being in the flow state. If you're already there, if you're on your path, if you feel like you're in alignment, this is a fantastic energy to be in, where it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. I'm just going to let this unfold how it needs to. Beautiful, cool. But then this energy does also feel like it doesn't have a lot of direction. So if you are going through a time or a situation where you feel a bit lost, or you don't know what to do, or you don't know where to go, or where to go from here, that's where this energy could be a challenge. So we're going to see how it plays out. We're going to keep moving. And that's rare for Scorpios. And, especially my longtime friends here know that I have some major Scorpio placements with my moon sign. And out of all the signs that I read for personally, Scorpio is probably the biggest. I'm a Scorpio specialist. That's what I like to call myself. But when I see this type of energy, that's not usually what I'm used to seeing and feeling from Scorpio, right? Usually Scorpio energy knows what direction it wants to go and knows its goals, knows what it wants to accomplish. So for some of you, maybe this is someone else, unless you're in a weird, funky patch where it's like, what now, right? So let's go in on the Page of Wands. If you're in alignment, though, it's good. I can tell you that, where it's like everything just seems to be automatic. Okay. Structure. Restructuring is super, super necessary for something. Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords in the upright. These are both communication cards. They're both fresh. They're both new. So I will tell this, Scorpio, there could be a lot of like unexpected or surprising offers coming out of the woodwork. Now, offers meaning that could be work and career related, if that's something you're focused on right now, but it could also be conversational when it comes to like other people hitting you up. Hey, Scorpio, you might hear from people you haven't heard from in a while. So whether it's an emotional offer or a material offer, to me, it feels like energy is coming out of the woodwork. However, we could put that to the side. We like it, right? It's kind of out of the blue, which is cool. Um, this energy feels like it needs to be restructured. Where, like, hey, let's just go back to the drawing board. Let's restructure this. Let's replan this. So there may be a specific thing or situation where maybe you need to give it another look and see if you can adjust this or adjust that. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's something I need to give another look. Right? Ace of Swords is the sword of truth. It's very smart, very intelligent, all about communication, very sharp. Right? So, like, when I see the Page of Wands with this Ace of Swords, it's like I'm going to check my work. I'm going to look through my notes. I'm going to replan this and readjust it. So now might be a readjustment or a recalibration period for a lot of Scorpios too. This could just represent life itself. It doesn't mean like just with work or business or relationships. Life, reality might just be recalibrating right now. So if you do feel like you're in this mode where it's kind of like we're just floating along, this energy is like, hey, things are recalibrating here. So a lot of stuff here. So I like it for the offers. I like it for the stuff coming out of the woodwork. It doesn't give me a bad feeling whatsoever. But there is something here about either restructuring, replanning, or yeah, just revisiting something. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We're going to see what Temperance has. So there's a lot of unique messages that are just like coming out of left field this week. But let's go. Let's see what Temperance has. I'm not super concerned, to be honest. Okay. Hermit. Okay. These energies work well together, to be honest with you. Hermit. So we got the Virgo card, right? If you're connected to one, Virgo placements yourself. Usually this is withdrawn, solitary, calm, chill. Like these energies right here are two peas in the pod, right? These energies are not in a rush. So I think there is something here that's very important. And I think I was picking it up in like the Cancer reading potentially, where it's like, do not rush. This is not a race. Like you don't have to complete it all in 1 minute or all in one day. Let's say you're doing something like writing a book. It's like, hey, you could structure it, you could plan, but you don't have to finish the whole damn thing in 2 weeks, right? Like you need to take away, give yourself some constraints, but take away some others. That's so like specific. So again, only take it if it fits. It's like take away some restraints, add some others. There's like this restructuring I'm picking up this week, Scorpio. Like it's so unique. I don't think I've ever felt this in a general reading. I've felt it in personals. I've never felt it in a general like this. Now, the Hermit, very spiritual, super spiritual. So like when I see the protection with Archangel Michael, we have the Hermit. This is like direct connection to spirit. So those of you that are energetically sensitive, expect the signs, the synchronicities, the spirit communication to ramp up because that's here. But for those of you that are not so in tune or not really down with that type of way, because I know some Scorpios could be very straightforward, and that's cool. Temperance with the Hermit is like, I'm not rushing a damn thing. Do not rush me. Do not pressure me, right? And again, as someone with Scorpio placements, I know we're not too fond of being pressured or rushed. I've been seeing that in other signs this week too. There's something about pressure and rush, and you got to do this, and you got to do it now, and urgent, urgent, urgent. This energy here is like, no, take your time. It's not a damn race, and don't let anything or anyone tell you otherwise, right? So let's go through and do a quick recap. A lot of specifics came through this week. Again, you just take it how it hits for you. When I look at the whole ball of wax, I'm not really concerned. But if you kindly look in the box, position number 1, we got our good friend here, the King of Cups with the 2 of Wands in reverse underneath it. I did say the energy just feels like it's milling about for some reason. Now, in the positive sense, if you are on your purpose, doing what you got to do, and you're in alignment, beautiful. Like this energy does seem to be in a flow state. But for some others, this may be a place where it's like, what now? What next? Where do I go from here? Like it's an energy that's kind of lost in a way. We're just milling about, right? Where it's I'm floating along. So just watch out for that. In the center, we have the Page of Wands, Ace of Swords. I do feel like this could be an unexpected or surprising offer coming out of the woodwork. So whether it's a person, whether it's work related, to me, it's like all these things just start coming out of the woodwork. But there's also something here about restructuring. Or so whether it's your schedule where it's like, okay, I'm going to take these restraints away and put these ones on. I'm going to rethink this. I'm going to redo that. There's something about going back to the drawing board, right? On the back end, we have Temperance with the Hermit in the upright. This is an energy that will not be rushed. So this could be spirit saying like, hey, Scorpio, it's not a race. Don't pressure yourself so much. Or if someone is trying to pressure you or vice versa, this energy is like, hey, no pressure. Like, yeah, it's good to have things you want to do and accomplish, but it's like the more pressure you apply, the more off the rails it can go. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yes, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So let's get you one. What do we got here for Scorpio gang? And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. What do we got for Scorpio gang in the shadows? Cool. Three of Wands, and it does give me a very similar energy to what we have here in the front and the back. It's like the front and back combined. Now, the Three of Wands is a card that can represent manifestation, creation, and I did say for some Scorpios, there's certain things that could be falling into place, and that's what this Three of Wands represents, where it's like, all right, things are materializing, things are falling into place, even if I don't see them happening. So that's good, especially the other thing I was saying about like direct spiritual communication for some. But this card is also in a waiting period or a wait and see. So for some Scorpios, maybe that's an advice where Spirit's like, hey, just wait and see. Wait and see. You'll get your answers at some point. The only shadow side, and again, this is also a card of anticipation. And with Scorpio being so honed in on subtle energies, you might feel something coming before it does. But with the Three of Wands, this is an energy in its most shadowy form that can waste its time. Right. So it's interesting that we have this big thing this week about restructuring, adding constraints, removing constraints, not rushing, but also not wasting time. Right. It's all a balance. Right. And it does show up here, especially with the Three of Wands. And this is also an energy where it's like a watch pot never boils. Right. Like if you want something, if you're looking towards something, the more attention you pay it, the slower it goes. So there's something like that too. So we got a lot of stuff this week, Scorpio. I feel like I could pull another whole reading for Scorpio gang, but I'm not going to do that to you, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the August subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The August calendar is up and spots go quick, so you might want to check that out. But for the August subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 winners at random to either choose the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, which is an absolutely stunning deck, or one of the custom-made crystal pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, and second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards that showed up in your reading today, which one intrigued you the most? Which one caught your attention and why? And you put that in the comments, you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab / post tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.